Yeah, we can totally do artistic. Well, your face got to be this way because the light's that way.
Oh, okay.
Cool. So I'm here with the man, Tuey Wilson himself.
Sorry.
How did you start juggling?
How did I start? I learned how to juggle in about 8th grade from my next oldest brother, who for some reason knew how, and then never really got real into it. Then just before my senior high school, at camp I went to that summer, a kid there had made for juggling equipment, some juggle bug stuff. And I thought,
juggle bug?
Yeah, so that's cool. I gotta get some of that.
In the day.
So bought some balls, and so then I got more interested. My brother actually had the Carlos book, which was the juggling book back in the 70s.
Right.
And so I was starting to learn some stuff from that, and made myself the clubs that he chose with the making with plastic bowling pins. And then a friend at school says, "Oh, you like juggling? You should go out to the Renaissance Festival. There's jugglers there."
Yep.
I said, "Oh, what's a Renaissance Festival? Never heard of it." So I had my oldest brother take me out there.
Did you go to Minnesota?
Minnesota.
See, I don't know if you guys know, but me and Tuey share something. I was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This guy's from Minnesota. But the Renaissance Festival was the biggest city in my life. You go in there, it is huge. Talk about the prince and princesses. You can be your own little knight and walk around. So many people.
Yeah, it's one of the largest ones in the country and oldest.
And this guy's performed there how many years?
August 20th will be the start of my 36th straight year there.
That is awesome.
So yeah, so like I said, so I went out there with my brother, saw the jugglers. That's cool. Senior year of high school, what are you gonna do with your life? I thought I'd maybe like to be a juggler. Like I saw at the Renaissance Festival, that looks kind of fun. And so I lived at home and worked part-time and practiced. And a year after graduating, got hired at the Renaissance Festival as a little street juggler. And
cool.
It was really over the years there that I learned to perform and what kind of stuff I liked. And then, like I said, it'll be my 36th year. Now it's my 7 straight weeks of making money and sleeping in my own bed.
Wow.
And it's fun because it's the only place I have fans. Normally as a variety artist, you come in, you do your show, you leave, and those people will never see you do your show again.
Right.
But because of the year after year, I get people coming in and say,
so do you have Renaissance groupies? Like just girls that just come and say, "Hey, Tuey, how are you?"
I don't get groupies. No.
Jugglers don't get groupies.
Don't get
well,
groupies.
I don't know. Maybe some.
Not when they're in their 50s, they don't. Not when they're a grandfather, they don't. Anyway, yeah. So, but people come up and say I was bringing, my son since he was my grandson's age.
Wow.
Back
wow.
So 3 generations we've been coming that long, and so that's fun out there.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. You're like treated like a king there because you've been there so long.
Nobody is treated like a king.
There's only one king in a Renaissance.
Only the king, and that's only when he's on stage, so to speak.
What is? How many hours did you practice back in the day?
Back in the day, I know I had at least one stretch where I was doing 5 or 6 pretty consistent. I would actually go to the YMCA that I was a member of, practice for a couple hours. I'd bring my lunch with me, eat my lunch while they had a class going on in the gym. There was no place to practice. And then I'd go back and practice for a couple hours. Wow. But honestly, like some of these guys that were doing 8 hours till they bled for
how many hours
time,
did you do?
I never did that kind of thing. Like I said, when I was really practicing at that one point, I maybe 5 or 6 hours. But that was never in a really long extended. More consistently, a couple hours when I was. So
what about now? I mean, you work all over, professional performer.
Now it totally varies. Now it's like I enjoy practice. I like to practice. There's stuff I really still want to learn, and I'm working on. I'm trying to make some of the stuff I'm doing harder than it currently is. And so if I'm actually consistently getting in and practicing, that's probably going to be about a 2-hour session. Honestly, at this point, that's I find is kind of where I'm at.
Very cool.
But then I'll also go. I haven't been into my practice space in 2 or 3 months because I might, like if I'm working cruise ships and I go to a cruise ship and I come home for 4 to 6 days and I go to a cruise ship, which I did a lot of that this spring. When I'm home for that shorter period of time, it's kind of like, okay, what needs to be done around the house? What if I want to try and do something, with the family? Exactly. And so,
did you say you're a grandpa?
I am a grandfather.
That's so cool, man.
I have a grandson who turned a year back in June.
Wow, awesome. Very cool. What's your favorite prop?
My favorite prop, I suppose it's got to be a spinning ball.
Yeah.
I suppose. Not that it would be, not that
I saw that you did the Renegade, the ladder, and the spinning ball, and the ball on top of the ball.
Yeah, actually
so cool.
Be doing some tonight as a last-minute fill-in because someone couldn't rig a trapeze, apparently.
Okay, so there you have it. That's professional right there at its peak. When things happen, they call, well, can you just be on stage? So what's the story behind that?
They couldn't rig Amanda's Crockett's trapeze properly, and so Jim approached me and said, so, here's the deal. You got anything?
By the way, the show's tonight. And
this was yesterday. This was last night. So let me go check my prop box, and let me talk to someone else who has spinning balls, because the thing that I had in mind to do,
Right.
I don't have any of the balls I normally use for it, but I have a couple other balls with,
Right.
and so we're going to make
Are you
it
going to
work.
do the world record that you have?
That
This-
4-ball backward roll.
The 4-ball. Okay,
Yeah,
he spins
we're
4
doing that.
balls and does a backward roll.
Yes, that's what we're doing.
Very, very, very
That's
cool.
what we're doing. And yeah.
I can't wait to see it.
And I
It's
swear
going to
there
be
was a
good.
question prior to that.
Well,
the
your
favorite props.
Yeah.
Okay, like if I'm gonna go practice, if I'm gonna ball spinning isn't what I want to spend 2 hours practicing. But from a standpoint of what am I a specialty at and doing a show, it's the ball spinning. If you're gonna say, okay, I'm gonna lock you in a room for an hour with one prop to play with, I'd probably take rings. I suppose that's something I've been working on. And
I've seen your ring stuff. Very cool.
And so.
Yeah, very cool. So tell me this, if you had to give advice to anybody that wants to be a professional juggler like yourself and that's seeing this video, what would you give? What would you say?
Definitely, early on, perform anywhere you can. Whether you're getting paid, to get the experience early on, you do birthday, you do whatever. The more time you have in front of an audience, the more you develop your stage presence, the more you develop what your style is, and all the rest of it. It's really,
Do you believe
that's
that the practice is the performance? The more you get out there, the more you perform. Well, that's how you really get the good
yes,
practice.
I see what you're saying. Yes, definitely. There's no question. Because
Cool.
yes, you can practice all you want and get the skills, and that is important. But if you don't present it in a way that the people care about, the skills are fairly meaningless.
Absolutely.
That's one thing everyone says as they learn, that it's more about the presentation, or if you're doing comedy juggling, the comedy than the thing. So it's kind of like it makes more sense almost to spend more time working on, writing material or doing that than practicing.
Yeah.
With that said, I never do that, and I spend more time practicing because that's what got me into it. I love the physical skill aspect of it. I would go skiing, skateboarding, water skiing.
Awesome.
The physical skill thing for me was always,
so cool.
That's cool, I have to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
And to
Do you
this
ski?
day-
You water ski?
Yeah, I
and
grew up
everything like
ski
that?
racing. I actually coached ski racing in my 20s. That was my winter employment, was coaching ski racing.
What? I remember I'd go to Wisconsin State Fair, and I would see the Wisconsin Dells and all those places, and they had like water.
The water ski, yeah. I did that. Water skiing was just, at the family place, and I was okay with
Land of
nothing-
10,000 lakes. There's got to be some
nothing
water
at that
skiing
level
going
for the
on.
water skiing, but snow skiing was what I competed in and coached at, was snow skiing in the winter. And
Do you have any crazy stories of like you performing? Anything happened? I was talking to Jordan Moore. I use this example a lot. I've told a lot of people that he went on stage with 2 left feet shoes just because he happened to take the wrong shoe. Anything that happened maybe in your Renaissance days that you're like, oh man, this one show?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh gosh, yes.
Go for it.
Renaissance Festival. I walk a rope, and at the time I light the rope on fire and I walk through it while I juggle 3 torches.
You know what? I might have remembered seeing you do that.
And
as a little kid, how cool is that? Now I'm talking to you.
There you go.
This is awesome.
And I just recently started doing my flaming beanie. So I had a thing that sat on, strapped to my head, and then 3 torches on a thing that spun on it.
Okay, and it's on fire.
And it's on fire. So
All
3
right.
torches
And is the rope on
a little
fire?
More fire. So the rope's on fire. I'm juggling fire. I'm walking through the rope, and we added the beanie. And it was maybe the second weekend with the beanie. Okay. So I go up there. I light everything up, and I hadn't taken the thing up that it sits on.
Okay.
The thing strapped around my head that the torch, flaming torch part sits on. I'd forgotten it, which had actually happened before. But at the other time, apparently, someone handed it to me at work.
Okay.
So and this thing has got torches in 3 directions, so you can't really hold it without it climbing and starting to burn your hand.
Right.
So I'm trying to, get this thing, but I'm having to keep handing this back and forth with the torches. And then I have the idea, I'll just blow one out, hang on to it, hand it to me, I'll relight it off the torches, and then we can do the trick.
Sure.
And it was right basically as I had that thought that my head started to feel hot. And I looked at the audience down here, because I'm in the round there, and I looked at the audience down here and said, is my hair on fire? And jumped off the rope, putting it out, hair's falling on the stage.
Right there, live in front of the audience.
Right, put everything out.
No way.
Put everything out.
How many people were you performing for?
Oh, hundreds, a large crowd at the thing. And
hey, you know that guy that burned his hair? The guy had his hair on fire?
Yeah, and this was unfortunately, this was prior to everyone filming, so there one guy I think had like a VHS video camera, and he said he'd send it to me. I never did.
Oh,
never
man.
did get it. And then I gassed everything back up, went up, did the trick, and between shows I put an ice cube under a towel on my head. By the next show I couldn't even feel it. That night I'm at home in the living room floor stretching, and my wife starts laughing. I said, what? She goes, what'd you do? What do you mean? You have a bald spot the size of the quarter on the top of your Oh, that's right. I lit my hair on fire at work today. And I couldn't see it where it was. I didn't know that there was actually a spot showing.
Yeah.
It burned that off.
I think it's still. Yeah. No, you're good now.
That's a different issue I've got going now. So
you're good now. So one last thing. Oh, keep going if you want to talk about that.
No, go ahead. No, that's good.
What has juggling given back to you? If you feel like everything as a gift, what has juggling given back to you? Of all these years of performing and juggling.
A great job for one thing. I mean, that's the big thing. That I've been able to do this for a living. And
very cool.
For a guy like me who had no idea what else, and I'm always sit next to me in a plane, I'd probably drive people nuts because I'm just I don't sit still well.
Do you feel like you need juggling in your life just to keep yourself? It's kind of like a drug in a way. It's like, well, you know what? I gotta go and juggle.
A little bit. For me, it's honestly more of a broad physical skill spectrum.
Wow.
Kind of thing. I mean, and that's one of the ways that I express physical skill and movement with my body, like ski, mountain bike, things of that nature.
So then
all that kind of stuff.
Juggling has helped you. It's been a part of you over here.
And at some level, yeah. Like I said, there's stuff I'm trying to learn. I've about a year and a half ago, I finally committed to trying to learn my combination trick on a 5-foot unicycle that I've sort of put off for 20 some years. It's basically at 54. It's like, okay, there's stuff I wanted to learn. I've always wanted to learn how to do. But of course, if I really did, I would have spent the time practicing to learn it. But it's like, okay, but now I'm old enough that I'm kind of on the clock. So I really actually have to work on this, if I'm going to get this before I'm too old.
Which is actually kind of good because you give yourself deadlines and boom.
So, the Renaissance Festival, like I've been there forever, and people will, how long do you think you can, because I've been seeing you a long time, you got to be kind of old, aren't you? Kind of. But you're still doing the same stuff, and it's getting harder, and what? And, well, it's because I keep doing it, and so I tell them then when they ask that, well, my goal now is to be at 70 doing harder stuff than any other juggler that worked into their 70s. That's my goal.
Awesome.
There you at some level. So yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you, Tuey.
You're welcome.
Tuey Wilson in the house. Go check him out at the Renaissance Fair. Thank you very much.
Thank you.